I can't move the way I used to, had to call the audible. I put in the work, no humble flex. And talk of the town, you see who next. They on checkers, I'm on chess. Had to hit her with the X. Xenhouse.
It's that time.
It's that time. We got questions, we need answers. All right, the first question you kinda already answered without even knowing, but it's Messi or Ronaldo? Who you picking?
Messi.
Hands down. It's not even close.
Those two guys, we're fortunate. People say this all the time, but we really
rare
are.
Yeah.
The people that love this game and the people that are in this game are fortunate to see these two guys, top athletes, compete during the same time. But I think for me, Messi has just a special touch. He was God-given just here. This is what you're meant to be, man.
Yeah.
So I think Messi for me has
It's clear.
The argument is there, but like I think people see like what you just said, right? Like the God-given talent of Messi is just it can't be matched.
Yeah.
But then when you watch Ronaldo and you learn about his story, like the amount of work it's like LeBron comparisons. This dude puts so much money into himself that you can't deny him to be the top two greatest athletes of all time.
He's one of the greatest, man. I mean, he would be the greatest if Messi was in the same time, you know? And I relate more to Ronaldo because Messi is just a different, He's different, man.
different
Messi
animal.
is, the guy plays the game and it's like,
What are you
he's
doing?
home. He's like, this is me.
what he
He's
does,
the game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Ronaldo is an incredible player.
All right, so that's settled.
Who would you have, like, if you
my
had to
team?
compare? If you had to compare, we know you're taking Messi, but who would you compare to Messi? Right, going back from all your soccer knowledge and all the guys you've watched, who would you say would be more comparable to Messi that you've seen
As a player,
as a player?
no, I don't know.
There's
You can't.
nobody.
There's
There's
no
nobody.
but
That says a lot though.
but-
This guy he's
Yeah,
all
but-
soccer.
But I did play with Thierry Henry, who was a teammate of Messi in Barcelona, FIFA Player of the Year, World Cup winner with France as well.
Yeah.
Who was a
Henry
top.
is different
He's also
though.
a top. He's also in that conversation. You know what I mean? But I just, I didn't live on the day-to-day with Messi. I did live the day-to-day with Thierry Henry, and the guy was just a whole nother level. You have pros, and then you have Thierry Henry up here, you know? But I can only imagine if Messi's doing it at that stage, and
all the time.
it's all the exactly.
Haitians
Consistency
love
for these
Thierry
guys,
Henry.
man.
Yeah, he ain't messing
You
around.
Next question. If you can go back and give your 18-year-old self a piece of advice, what would it be?
Good one.
This one gets everybody, boy.
I would probably say work harder. Work harder, and stay committed. Because it's not easy when at those age groups to really see it. Now I see it, and sometimes you do say, what if I would have done this or would have done that? Could I have taken it further? But I'm so happy with my journey that it's difficult to also say like, hey, I would have changed this and this. I would have loved to play in, top league in Europe as a pro, right? But again, going back to like the journey and the purpose, I love everything I do. But I think take every opportunity, work hard, stay committed to your dreams. That I think is going to be an advice I could give any 18-year-old, and I would have done it to myself.
Yeah. Next one. You've coached college. You've coached at Iona. You've coached kids all the way up through. If you had to pick between coaching college kids who can process what you're asking them to do and be able to do it, or coaching kids that you have to develop, which one will you pick?
Good question. Really, I've gotten this question before. It's two different things, I think. Coaching college or even our JLE football club kids who are going to go to college is more, it's a balance of development and competition, and you're prepping them to win, right? At the college game too, you want to develop these players, but the players you're getting at those age groups are almost set where they are technically at that point, So I think I enjoy both. I personally like to work with 11, 12, 13-year-olds and see them really develop. I really enjoy that. But as a competitor, I think coaching at the competitive level is the best. But I don't know. That's a tough one. It's a tough one for me to choose. I do really well developing players, in my opinion. But I really love to compete too and prep games and watching
tough,
opponents. It's a tough one.
But that is a tough question. Like the best is, well, from my experience, right, is when like you're coaching someone who's into it. Right? Like Drew, when he was 12, and I used to be like, you can't do this. And he's giving me that look like, I can't do it. And he shows you that he can do it. The development is like, it's unbelievable.
I think I lean more towards that, towards developing players. That's just where I've been. I've also been in my coaching career more in that space. And my experience at the college game was phenomenal, and I enjoy coaching those higher level teams too to compete and win. But I like you, I share that same sentiment where when you're developing a group of players and you're like, okay, here's where you are, and then seeing them succeed and seeing them do how you want them to, what your vision is and execute it. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Next question. What's the most important lesson you've learned so far over your career? Number one.
It's a
Johnny's like,
2-3-part question.
These are tough. I was not prepared for these questions.
Yeah, you can go so many different ways, but what's the number one?
What's the most important lesson I've learned over my career as a player or as a coach? In general.
Both. Yep.
Hard work beats talent. I mean, I've seen it. So I think that's important.
You lived it.
I lived it, exactly. I was with peers that, maybe they were better than me at one point, but they weren't. I wasn't going to let that stop me. They weren't committed. And I think just in general in life, I think those principles don't change. Discipline, work ethic, commitment, So I think that for me has been a lesson learned through my career and life. So.
What's the most memorable moment of your career so far? And that's player and as a coach.
As a parent.
And as a parent. That's
Come
everything.
on, man.
When my kids were born, it was the best thing in life. Right. It's the most fulfilling thing I think I've experienced, my kids, my children. But as a player, I think making my debut in MLS, I didn't have a big career in MLS, but being there and having my family and people that from the area supporting me and being able to step on the field was a memorable time for me. I also had a really good year the year prior to that, and I was a Golden Boot, which is the top scorer of the USL at that time, second tier. So that was another memorable moment for me personally. In college, winning championships with guys who are now still my friends.
Yeah.
And thinking back now, that's memorable. And as a coach, just seeing our teams succeed and on the field, whether it's winning and seeing kids progress to a different level, those things for me are important. And I feel them. When I see a kid that I've had and has now gone and played at the next level, and you see them there, that's impactful for me.
Fulfilling, for sure. Last question. When it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered?
As a guy who loved the game, as a guy who cared about the people, and simple, honest guy, and a guy who worked hard. That's it.
Xenhouse, yeah. Xenhouse, yeah.